Tires, start your engine!
It's MRN Motorsports Monday, the place for the latest news and loudest opinions, direct from the guys at the track. Presented by Outback Steakhouse. The stories, views, and opinions expressed on MRN Motorsports Monday are not likely shared by anyone, anywhere. Results may vary, so you should talk to your doctor before watching.
What's up, Doc?
Today's episode is brought to you by Hercules Tires.
Pace car is on.
Here's Woody Cain.
Oh, boy, am I glad to see you guys!
I knew you'd come back, Woody.
And Joey Meier.
Just a reminder, if you're asking me a question on the radio, just keep talking till I answer it for you, all right?
Welcome to a Memorial Day edition of MRN Motorsports Monday. Following the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway, Austin Dillon takes the number 3 car back to victory lane for the first time in nearly 17 years at the Cup level. We understand he won with the number in the Xfinity and Truck Series along the way. But man, Richard Childress Racing already 2 wins under their belt as an organization. The whole team came into the season saying, yeah, we're better, but we've got to get wins to prove it. Now they've got 2.
Memorial Day edition here on Monday, Motorsports Monday. I want to thank you to all the families who are honoring the people we lost, allowing us the opportunity to do this right here and talk about unusual circumstances with the 3 car, not in contention for the entire evening until the very last end. Mm-hmm. He's able to milk the last ounce of energy out of that race car and get that car to victory lane. You saw literally the thrill of victory from a family-owned team. Richard Childress, the grandfather, Mike Dillon, a past NASCAR Busch driver, now the Xfinity Series, and Austin Dillon, who's been trying so hard to live up to that 3 moniker, and he finally gets to get that car pushed into victory lane and wave the flag and celebrate like those guys deserve.
Yeah, he ran out of gas trying to do his burnout, didn't he?
That's exactly right, yeah. The first, it did it like a burnt, and that was it.
It was a mini burnout. I was like, wait, is he done now?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it was fantastic to watch, and great to see the drama at the end of that thing because Jimmy Johnson was leading, trying to save gas. Mm-hmm. He runs out. Meanwhile, here comes Martin Truex Jr., who led 230-some laps, and Kyle Busch charging with fuel and fresh tires.
Yeah, we definitely saw a couple of different strategies there at the end. We go 600 miles on an hour-and-a-half rain delay, and it comes down to a fuel mileage race, which people like you and I can't pull our hair out, but there were people...
It's too late for that.
There were people going, no way, 600 miles is going to be a fuel mileage race, and that's exactly what it turned into. But that's how the strategy, those guys, the 48s and the 3s and the 31s and the 27s, they played the strategy and set themselves up to do that. A Truex Jr. who dominated the evening. Kyle Busch dominated very fast race cars. They weren't trying to do fuel mileage. So it's definitely 2 strategies that played out there at the very last lap. We saw one of them fade out with the 48, who said, I didn't even know I was supposed to save fuel till the very last minute. And then Truex Jr. and Kyle Busch were able to get back to 2nd and 3rd, marching through the field, and Austin Dillon brings out the victory. So it was a very, very good evening on a Memorial Day capture at the end for the Coca-Cola 600.
And Austin Dillon was understandably excited in victory lane when he got there. He mentioned the fallen Navy SEAL that he had across the top of his windshield, as did all the drivers honoring someone for Memorial Day. But he said he felt like that was an angel on his shoulder, so to speak, to help that car get the last little drops of fuel out that it had. And here's what he said in victory lane.
Have you had a fuel mileage win in Xfinity or trucks? Is this your first fuel mileage win?
Fontana. Last year we won like that. It was a pretty spectacular finish. So I know how to save fuel. That's a good thing. And ECR engines also helped a lot.
What were they telling you about how close you were going to be on fuel?
Well, I felt like I was doing my job lifting early enough, pretty early on, and trying to just coast through the corner as long as I could. And I was really consistent on my laps, and I could change lap time with how fast I wanted to enter the corner. So good handling car enabled me to lift early enough to make it to the end.
Tell me about this magic that you and Justin Alexander seem to have together. He jumps up on the pit box, you win at Bristol, and now you do it here. What's up with that?
It's pretty cool. I think firsts are pretty awesome for us. We might have to go drag racing next or something, see if we can get a win drag racing.
There you go, Austin Dillon talking about Justin Alexander. First race with him as the crew chief on the Cup pit box. They had worked together before in the Xfinity Series, and it was cool as well to see Slugger Labbe come into victory lane, shaking hands and high-fiving with all his guys after he left that position.
Yep, very rarely do we see an amicable departure of a crew chief driver race team combination like Slugger Labbe and Austin Dillon did this week. But Justin Alexander comes in, fits right in, gives Austin Dillon a car competitive. Again, it's 600 miles. It wasn't like we just gave this victory to Austin Dillon. He had to stay on the lead lap and be able close enough to the leaders for his strategy to play out. He wasn't several laps down and everybody else just balled up on pit road. He had to be in contention for his strategy to play out, and Justin Alexander allowed that car to be competitive. Austin Dillon did what he had to do for his strategy to play out. At the end of the night, they push it into victory lane, gas tank empty with the trophy.
That's all right. If you got to do that, I guess it's very much worth it indeed. We've got a big show on Motorsports Monday coming up for you today. We'll hear from some more drivers in the aftermath of the weekend out at Charlotte. And a special bonus, Ron Hornaday Jr., 4-time Camping World Truck Series champion, is going to join us. He's a recent inductee to the NASCAR Hall of Fame. That should be cool.
Hall of Fame, Ron Hornaday, yes.
How about that? Going to be a lot of fun. But as we get ready to go to break, we need to let you know that it's almost Bush o'clock, the most refreshing time of the day, a time for relaxing and unwinding with friends and family over a crisp, cold Bush beer. Bush's roots are in racing, but whether you're enjoying the race or going hunting on the weekend, nothing is better when it's time to relax than a crisp, cold Bush. Since 1955, Bush has delivered a beer that's as crisp and cold as a mountain stream, consistently providing a refreshingly smooth taste and easy finish. It doesn't have to be happy hour to be Bush o'clock, the most refreshing time of the day. So grab a 6-pack of Bush beer for your cooler, start the grill, and relax. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
I'm not blooming good, I'm blooming great. Put a shrimp on the barbie and sizzle my steak. Woo, I want that onion to bloom, and it get in my senses like a sonic boom. No rules, just right. So bold, so nice, and I'm so ready for that Outback steak tonight. Outback Steakhouse, that's what it's all about. Outback Steakhouse.
It's almost the most refreshing time of the day, Bush o'clock, a time for relaxing and unwinding with friends and family over a crisp, cold Bush beer. Bush's roots are in racing, but whether you're enjoying the race or going fishing, nothing is better when it's time to relax than a crisp, cold Bush. It's Bush o'clock, so grab a 6-pack of Bush beer for the cooler, start the grill, and relax. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bush Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Danica Patrick here. I know the importance of communication, so when it comes to selecting equipment for my family or friends, I send them to Racing Electronics. Rent a scanner or fan vision from racingelectronics.com so that you can take in all the action from every NASCAR race. Watch live, unfiltered team communication from all the teams and drivers. You'll never miss a beat of what your favorite driver has to say. Hope it's me.
Well, we survived, kind of. We could have been 40th, so we'll just take what we can get.
Hi, this is Austin Dillon. Now back to MRN Motorsports Monday with Joey Meier and Woody Cain.
What a weekend it was out at Charlotte Motor Speedway. We had the Xfinity Series on Saturday, the Coca-Cola 600 on Sunday. How about Ryan Blaney getting the victory in the Xfinity side on Saturday?
The 12 car has been successful whenever it shows up, regardless of who's behind the wheel of that car. Brian Wilson and Greg Irwin have taken turns, different crew chiefs for those two teams. Ryan Blaney and Joey Logano have both visited victory lane. Ryan started in the rear after a little post-qualifying modification that NASCAR didn't like and was able to drive through the field. Brad Keselowski, who did not go through tech in qualifying, started next to him in the rear and was able to go back to fourth. But the 22 now goes winless for almost 2 years, while that 12 car keeps getting wins every time it enters the show. We've got a couple more races with Brad at Michigan and Pocono, I believe, and then we're essentially done for the year. But the 12 car will run a couple of times. They've been pretty decent. It's fun to watch.
Here's what Blaney said in victory lane after Saturday's win.
It was a really fun day. We had a start in the back, and our car was really, really good that we were able to drive up to fourth before that first segment ended, and we got the lead there, and we was able to lead the second segment, and I thought our car was super good at that point. Then we lost the lead. We kind of got boxed in on our pit stop. I didn't get into the box very good. That kind of put us in a bad spot to line up third, and it's so hard to get up there, and we could never really break through to get to that front lane, and it was getting less than 20 to go, 15 to go, and I was kind of getting nervous, and luckily we were able to get good restarts and push Kevin out front, and that allowed us to be side by side with Austin and clear him into three, which got us on the front row, and was able to get us the restart we need to to clear them and get in front of them. So it's been a while since I've been in victory lane. So I think we finished second 3 times this year. So it's nice to finally get back here.
Well, it's great to see him get that victory. I remember talking to him, I want to say at Kansas maybe, after he had some restarts there and didn't come up with a victory. And he was so down on himself and disappointed, like we talked about several times Chase Elliott used to be. But it's good to see him get that victory and get that confidence because they've been fast all year.
And joins a very small group of father-sons that enjoyed victory lane at the same racetrack at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Dave Blaney driving for Braun Motorsports back several years back, came to Victory Lane, and now Ryan Blaney joins his father in Victory Lane as well.
Really cool to see. Another big story that happened last week after our show, the new class for the Hall of Fame, the NASCAR Hall of Fame, the 2018 class was announced. One of those guys is going to be on the program today, Ron Hornaday Jr., and there have been some people who said, oh, well, he doesn't have enough cup stuff to warrant being in the Hall of Fame. But 4 truck championships is large.
4 truck championships, 51 wins, which is still the most. A 14% winning average every time 14% every time he got in a truck, he was going to win a race. 5 times in a row he won, which only been done 3 times. A very, very good representation of any series, let alone just a truck series. I look forward to talking to him, but an unusual variety of Hall of Fame members. Red Byron was one of our gentlemen, and he was in the sport from the very get-go. You know, if you're digging the hole, he had the shovel right away before a hole was even started, and he was our first champion. So again,
the football equivalent of the leather helmet days.
Exactly right. So Red Byron is a great addition to our Hall of Fame. And for you guys listening, the Hall of Fame is located right here in Charlotte, and it provides a fantastic history and a back pass and current what's going on, a diverse celebration of what's going on in our industry.
And it's very technologically advanced as well. The displays are very interactive and very technologically advanced. Another one of the guys who came to Charlotte Motor Speedway on Sunday, and they did an availability, chatted with us in the media center, a guy that a lot of people credit with some of the great advances that we've seen in engine building is Robert Yates, and battling cancer right now, but so cool to see him get the nod while he's struggling is not the right word with that, even though he is, but it's cool to see him be able to get that, to lift his spirits and boost him up.
Yeah, not only a fame engine builder, but did very well as a car owner as well with Ernie Irvin, Dale Jarrett, just to name a few. Won some championships, came along. Now it's Roush Yates, provided along with Doug Yates as his son, to carry on the stature of that engine program. They were notorious for building huge horsepower back in the day, and that's still to this day we have good steam with the blue ovals there at Team Penske.
And then Ken Squire was another one who joined us yesterday for a little bit of a chat, and he's one of the guys who is credited with putting NASCAR on the map back in the old CBS days when they were the first network to start carrying the races nationally.
Well, when we talk about Ken Squire, he is one of the forefathers of Motor Racing Network, which is pretty cool. The company that we're sitting right here enjoying our talents, or you're enjoying our talents, I think, hopefully, if you're sitting at home. And
Wait,
going,
we have talents?
Those guys are really talented. But it's thanks to Ken Squire, and he actually made the moniker The Great American Race, broadcasting the Daytona 500. So Ken's been around a little while.
Yeah, and he was on PA on Sunday as well at the track yesterday.
Yeah, and the other entry into our Hall of Fame class was Ray Evernham, who's notorious for his ingenuity on his mind, being behind a crew chief. And if you ever get a chance, go back to look at the T-Rex car that clearly dominated, more domination in the All-Star race than we've ever seen before.
Yeah, it was fantastic to watch. We've got a big show continuing for you on Motorsports Monday. Up next, we'll speak with one of those NASCAR Hall of Fame inductees, the class of 2018. Ron Hornaday joins us on the other side of the break. Stick around.
I'm not blooming good, I'm blooming great. Put a shrimp on the barbie and sizzle my steak. Woo, I want that onion to bloom, and it get in my senses like a sonic boom. No rules, just right. So bold, so nice, and I'm so ready for that Outback steak tonight. Outback Steakhouse, that's what it's all about. Outback Steakhouse. Blooming great.
It's almost Busch o'clock. A time for relaxing and unwinding with a crisp, cold Busch beer. It's the most refreshing time of the day. Wait for it. 3, 2, 1. Busch. Crisp, cold Busch. Enjoy responsibly. Busch Beer. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Citywide to countryside, whatever you drive, wherever you go. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading warranty to get you there, no matter where the road takes you. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
White flag flies at the Nashville Superspeedway. Hornaday leads them back in turn one.
Ron Hornaday has put the pedal to the metal and now has opened up a 5-truck length lead over the second-place man of Brian Scott. Hornaday is half a lap away from a new record.
Richard Petty, Bobby Allison, and now Ron Hornaday, winners of 5 consecutive races in a row in their NASCAR careers. Hornaday takes the checkers.
Nice clip there. 2009 Nashville. Ron Hornaday goes to victory lane for the 5th time in a row. He also went on to win one of his 4 championships that season, and he joins us on the guest line now. Ron, welcome to the program, man, and congratulations. The 2018 class of the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Are you still pinching yourself a little bit?
Well, good morning, you talented Woody Cain and Joey Meier.
Thanks. I'm glad somebody thinks so.
Yeah. I've always thought a lot of you guys. You know that, especially Joey. He flew me around. I put my life in his hands for how many years?
Yeah, in my topsiders, you didn't think I had any shoes on.
Yeah, the very first time. Didn't even have a headset on.
That's right. Those are good stories.
Oh my goodness. Ron, just congratulations on being inducted to the NASCAR Hall. I saw you at the track on Sunday when you came in and spoke with the media for a while, and boy, it just seems like a little bit of an overwhelming situation for almost anybody who makes it to the Hall.
It is amazing. The people, you know, I always, in my whole career, I always tried to take care of the guys who took care of my race cars and took care of my family, kept me safe in them things. And I thought I had a lot of enemies because I raced against a lot of people, you know, and I wasn't probably the nicest driver on the racetrack. And I had a lot of work for them crew members, so I kind of moved a lot of guys out of the way. But to see the people come up and shake my hand and congratulate, I guess this thing is a huge deal. I mean, it's something that you don't ever think of. You just go out and do your job, and it was a thrill ride for me. Everybody else goes to Disneyland or Carowinds for their ride, but every time I strapped in a truck, it was a new ride for me. So unbelievable. I mean, what a whirlwind the last couple of days.
Ron, a Palmdale, California native, you've grown up racing late models in the Southwest Tour Series, and you got noticed through the Winter Heat Series in the truck by Dale Earnhardt. So if we start your career at the Truck Series in the mid-'90s, and now you're not really retired, but you're not racing, and we have your career in 2017, is there one moment between those two bookends that stands out?
No, not really. They all do. You know, every win is special, and man, I've been fortunate enough to drive for a lot of great people, and fortunate enough to have a lot of great crew chiefs. And oh man, you don't even know where to start, Joey. Yep. I mean, they said when you get inducted, you get 7 minutes. I said, well, you're gonna have to miss some commercials. I've got a lot of people to thank.
Yep.
They say you got to write a speech. I said, it's not about me and writing a speech. It's about thanking everybody what supported me from the Southwest Tour days to my car at Palmdale. You know, everybody knows Sammy Gonzalez. He's been with me. He came back from California with me, the Earnhardt days and AJ Foyt days, and you don't even know where to start. So I don't know. I don't even know where to start this thing at, but hope everybody's got a lot of patience because I'm going to thank a lot of people.
Chatting with 2018 NASCAR Hall of Fame inductee Ron Hornaday, a 4-time Truck Series champ. Ron, I understand as well you've been having a little fun with your old rival Jack Sprague over this whole thing. I came up watching him run out at Concord back in the old cable TV days, but tell the folks what you guys have been going back and forth about.
Well, Jack just texted me, and he's the bitter type on the other end of it, and he kind of said something smart aleckly to me, and I just told him I got one up on him. And then yesterday in the media center, and they said, well, to be the first one in the Hall of Fame, what do you think of the Truck Series? I said, well, that's another thing I beat Jack Sprague at. So. Yeah, Jack and I, we're fortunate enough to got, he was with Mr. Hendricks back in the day, and I was with Earnhardt, and there was always a rival there because you wanted to be the top Chevrolet, and it just seems Jack always had that the deal is like, how come you keep running into me, Hornaday? And I say, well, your motors are a little better than ours, so I had to run into you in the corners to keep up with you down the straightaways.
Ron, one of the things we don't like to use the word is retired, because you're really not retired. You're still very active in the sport with Diamond Chassis and your grandson Slater. How's Diamond Chassis working, and what do you see the prospects of Slater moving forward?
Well, it's Hornaday race cars right now, and we're kind of on our own, and we're doing unbelievable. Billy Workman drives my house car, and he's leading the points. And Slater, he's turned 15. He's sitting on, knocking on the door, winning one of these things. It's done a lot of seconds. He's running fourth in points. Been traveling the circuit with this SEMDS series, and it's been pretty cool. The last couple of races we got rained out, but what a blast. I mean, a lot of fun. But you get to the same point where, you start running good, and you got a 15-year-old kid beating everybody, and they think you're cheating. So it's nothing's changed. So a lot of fun.
You sound almost busier now than when you were behind the wheel of the truck.
Well, I actually have been. I opened my mouth. I tried to help a buddy of mine. He helped me build race cars, 20 years ago, and he's been helping me over here. And he had a big project over at the mill, and I think Jimmy Johnson called me. I said, Jimmy, I'll have to call you back. I'm 30 feet in the air trying to weld this beam up there. So it's been a lot of fun. Just trying to stay active and having fun, doing everything you can, living life like every day like it's Saturday.
One of the unique stories you always can talk about is having a 7-time champion on the couch. How many other people have actually sat on your couch in the house and had to live there for a couple of months?
You can't really, you can't. I don't know if you can say they live there or that. It's just they're like part of the family. We were trying to count it up. I think there were 6 or 7 from Ross Chastain to Blake Fees to you name it. We've had everybody there.
Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah. I mean,
the list is
you
pretty
may have
good.
heard of those guys.
Yeah, they have gone on to do some great things along the way as well. Ron, an interesting point came up over the weekend. We were talking with Kyle Busch about being an owner in the Camping World Truck Series. With the news that Red Horse Racing has discontinued their operations right now, and he talked a little bit about the economics of the Truck Series and talked about maybe doing some more short tracks or maybe getting the cost out of the sport. Now that you've had a chance to step back and look at it from the outside, where do you think we stand in the Truck Series?
Well, I mean, I think Kevin's the one who brought that up first. I mean, that's when we first started the Truck Series, Craftsman came aboard, that we had a 10-year plan, and in the first year, we exceeded the 10-year plan just because we had 43 trucks there. We've had Richard Petty involved, Richard Childress, Dale Earnhardt, you name it. Every owner who owned a Cup car had a truck, and man, it was exciting to go to these short tracks and put on a good show and to see the local fans. The biggest deal right now is just, to support your local Saturday night show, and that's kind of what the Truck Series did. Is went to these different track venues where a lot of people didn't get to see, big time auto racing, and now they see, big haulers pull in and they have the parade, what we used to have, and to come down a day early and sign autographs and get people in the stands. And I think that's where the Truck Series needs to be right now. It's just, it's kind of cool. I mean, I thought Daytona was, when NASCAR went to Daytona, I thought they were kind of nuts, and I didn't get a chance to drive it the first year. And the second year I got to drive it, I went over and praised NASCAR, what they did with the safety and how the trucks handle at Daytona. But it's cool to say you're going to a mile and a half and all that stuff, but it's not practical for what trucks need. I think they need back to the Saturday night beating and banging and get back to the short tracks. And these younger kids, it's still radial tires, it's still pit stops, and they'll understand all that to get them to the next level in auto racing. But it definitely puts on a great show. I mean, we cut our teeth at it and gives them more opportunity for the younger kids to come from the short tracks and get an opportunity to drive in the truck.
Ron, so you're mayor for a day and you're going to go back to a truck or a short track. Where do you go? Do you go to Louisville? Do you go to Odessa? What track would you like to see the Truck Series back at?
Man, I had fun at all of them. We had Louisville, 7 turns and a jump, we called it. We had the Nashville Speedway, the I-70s, you name it. I mean, hell, when Schrader showed up at Sauga Speedway, my home track, we thought we were racing in the parking lot because 3 and 4 was off camber, So a lot of different tracks out there what we can reopen or not open, or they say the safer barriers are needed, but they don't get a high enough speed. So some of them tracks we only hit 105, 110 mile an hour down the straightaway. So you can get hurt in your street car better than that.
Yeah, you really can. Chatting with four-time truck champion Ron Hornaday, inductee to the NASCAR Hall of Fame 2018 class. And Ron, as we look at the Truck Series where it stands now, a lot of fresh young faces in there. Who's catching your eye in terms of making things happen? Johnny Sauter leads the standings, but you got young guys like Christopher Bell nipping at his heels.
It's so unbelievable. It wasn't too long ago I got to race for Mr. Turner, and here I'm racing along, and this kid comes up there, and I thought I was at the top of the racetrack, and this guy passed me on the outside, and I said, "Who is that kid? He's crazy. He's not supposed to be up here, and he's going to end up wrecking up there." And it's just amazing the talent from when I started to what they're doing now, and these kids are getting younger and younger. I mean, I think if I started a race right now, I'd have to take about 5 of them kids for my age. Them kids are so darn young now, but it's unbelievable. You said it, Christopher Bell. There's a lot of great kids out there. I mean, they got great equipment in there, and it's putting on a good show.
Ron, I'm very happy to say I'm your friend. You are a big part of my life getting in the NASCAR. Congratulations, a well-deserved honor for you to represent NASCAR and the Truck Series in the 2018 Hall of Fame. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you guys, and you guys stay on top of it. You guys are doing good.
Thank you, man. There you go. Ron Hornaday, four-time truck champ and 2018 class of the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Before we head to break, we need to make sure everybody knows that Kevin Harvick did get that top 10 finish in the Coca-Cola 600, which means free Bloomin' Onion. It's Bloomin' Monday at Outback Steakhouse. Go check them out. They've got great lunch specials as well. The Joey menu is not about Joey Meier. It's actually for kids, but check it out. It's all at Outback Steakhouse. Check them out and get that free Bloomin' Onion if you're catching us on a Monday. We've got more to come on Motorsports Monday. Stick around.
The camera.
Citywide to countryside, whatever you drive, wherever you go. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading warranty to get you there, no matter where the road takes you. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
I'm not blooming good, I'm blooming great. Put a shrimp on the barbie and sizzle my steak. Woo, I want that onion to bloom, and it get in my senses like a sonic boom. No rules, just right. So bold, so nice, and I'm so ready for that Outback steak tonight. Outback Steakhouse, that's what it's all about. Outback Steakhouse, blooming great.
MRN.com, your online destination for all things NASCAR. Looking for the latest NASCAR news? MRN.com. NASCAR stats for fantasy racing? MRN.com. Opinion pieces from award-winning motorsports writers? MRN.com. Race schedules, series standings, and photos? MRN.com. Live race streaming and audio and video podcasts that you can't miss? MRN.com. Stay up to date with all things NASCAR. MRN.com.
Hi, this is Jimmy Johnson, and you're listening to MRN Motorsports Monday with Joey Meier and Woody Cain.
There you go, Jimmy Johnson, the 7-time champ, and it's kind of convenient that we have him welcoming us back because headed to Dover where he has been fantastic.
It's unbelievable for a mile of concrete to be dominated by one driver, and it's Jimmy Johnson who dominates it. So it's a pretty peculiar situation. His thoughts about Dover are impressive. When moving forward, him and Chad have that place around their finger. They own Dover Motor Speedway.
They sure do. And there's what Jimmy Johnson had to say about why he's so good at Dover.
The way I want to attack a track, Dover is the perfect track for me. And then with my dirt background and the line constantly changing and trying to get your angles right to miss the black spots in the rubber laying down on the track, it just works so well for me. Once we pick all the rubber up, the track's super fast and the balance is usually loose. And then as you run and put the rubber down, the car doesn't want to turn as good. So you have to manage that stuff and decide if you want short run speed or end run speed. And at some point, you just have to hang on and deal with it. It was something that I had a lot of fun with as a kid, kind of implementing and learning. And then to have it carry over to a track like Dover, it's really important where you lift and how you lift to let the car settle down over the backside of that rise. So it's nice to finally have a track that I can call back on my youth and my early years.
One thing that's interesting about that track, it looks sort of like a giant Bristol with the concrete and the shape of it and all, but there's a roller coaster feel the way you get in the turns. Some drivers say it's like almost like falling off a cliff. But the interesting phenomenon I asked a bunch of people about over the weekend was at speed, you're putting rubber down on the track, and under caution, you're kind of picking it back up again. So restarts are kind of strange. You don't get to a certain place and realize, okay, this is how the car's going to run. It changes a lot.
Yeah, Dover changes through the entire time because it's a completely concrete track where the seams are. The seams actually take a little more rubber than the actual flat part where the cars are going over, and you start getting this train track hiccup, chugging along the track. And then again, under caution, you change all the surfaces. So for the entire run, the track is always changing, and Jimmy's figured out a really good way of modifying his driving effort. And we're going to see a great weekend at Dover. A triple header. All three series are back in action. Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup all in one weekend.
Absolutely. Friday, we've got the Bar Harbor 200 presented by Sea-Watch International Camping World Truck Series. That's 5 o'clock Friday evening. Saturday, the One Main Financial 200 Xfinity Series race. That's 12:30 Eastern Time Saturday afternoon. And on Sunday, the AAA 400 Drive for Autism at Dover. That starts at noon Eastern Time. You're headed off for a test at New Hampshire?
Loudon, New Hampshire. Here we come.
All right. You and 3 or 4 other guys. That's it for a Memorial Day edition of Motorsports Monday. See you next week.
MRN Motorsports Monday is presented by Outback Steakhouse. Tune in every Monday for another exciting episode right here on MRN.com. Brought to you by Hercules Tires. MRN Motorsports Monday is also available on demand in MRN.com's Media Center, on our Facebook page, on YouTube, and in iTunes or the Google Play Store. MRN Motorsports Monday is a production of the Motor Racing Network.